I share the frustration and the anger of local residents, so I'm demanding from the Prime Minister answers, action and justice. It's really important we're not left waiting for 2, 3, 4 years before we get answers. We need answers now. What I'm asking is for an interim response to the inquiry this summer. We need to make sure the local residents and families have proper representation and they're given legal representation. We need to make sure that if there is any individual or organisation responsible, they're criminally prosecuted. But in the meantime, I'm seeing families and residents struggling. The council needs to raise their game. They need to make sure that all residents are rehoused locally, as I was promised yesterday by government ministers. They need to make sure they're properly coordinating local volunteers and charities. We've also got to make sure the government today agrees they will implement immediately the 2013 rules that were advised previously as a result of a previous fire. It simply isn't good enough. I've also asked the government, and they gave me a positive answer yesterday, they will check every single tower block in London and across the country to reassure us they're safe. So I'm asking the Prime Minister to today publish a list of those tower blocks that have been checked, but also a timeline for when the remaining tower blocks will be checked, because there are families tonight living in tower blocks worried about, God forbid, if their tower block catches fire, would the same end be in relation to them as was in relation to what we saw tragically at Grenfell. During the course of the night when the fire took hold, I was in close contact with the Commissioner of the Fire Service, Danny Cotton, who was at the scene. She herself said, in 30 years of experience, the worst fire she has ever seen. More than 350 firefighters over the last 2-3 days have been working in North Kensington. I've nothing but admiration for them. I want to thank every single firefighter and their families for their hard work over the last period. Also Surrey and Kent have been helping out, but also the police service and the ambulance service. This isn't the time to talk about the consequences of policies from the previous mayor. This is the time to be supporting our fire service and supporting our own services. The only one thing which has been raised to me is a concern the Commissioner has about the welfare of her staff. We need to make sure we provide the trauma counselling firefighters and others receive. They will have heard things, seen things, witnessed things that none of us should ever experience. They're professionals, but the London Fire Service can't cope with the trauma counselling that the staff will need, and we need to make sure they receive the additional help.